Hi, and welcome to The Paradox of Change, a podcast dedicated to mental health and well-being. Today's introduction is, well, it's going to be short. James, Lottie and myself went out onto the streets of Southampton and spoke to general members of the public and asked them to share their stories, inspiring them to talk. Hope you enjoy this.
Hello, lovely people. I am out on the streets of Southampton this afternoon talking to members of the general public about how they feel. I am using this emotions wheel, and I'm just going to ask people how they're feeling today. Naveed, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
If I give you this, if you have a quick look at that for me and tell me out of those feelings, which best would sum up how you're feeling today?
Right now, surprised.
Okay.
Most of the time, I'm quite happy.
Okay, so shall we start with surprise? Is that because of what we're doing now?
Yeah.
Okay, so most of the time happy.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you maintain feeling happy.
It's not that difficult because most of the time I'm with my family, my mum, my dad, my sister. So usually when I have everybody I love, I'm usually in a good mood anyway. It's only when I'm, funnily enough, when I'm at work, when I'm away from them, then I feel a bit off. But most of the time, while I'm at work, I'm just focused on the work, so it's not too bad there either.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So family is very important.
Yeah.
They keep you balanced, keep you happy. But going to work, you don't feel quite so happy?
No, because I'm obviously away from them.
Right.
But I can survive it because I'm focused on the work. So
What do you do if you don't mind me asking?
I'm an accountant.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will avoid saying any of the stereotypical jokes about being an
I would
accountant.
say, yeah, brown boy as an accountant. It's not really surprising, I know. But yeah,
Do you enjoy your work or not?
I'm good at it.
Okay, that's different to enjoying.
Enjoying it, yeah. It's more of a case that I was made for the job rather than the job made for me. Yeah.
Okay.
So
home life, very happy.
Yeah.
Work life, not so much.
it's okay. I don't mind doing it because I'm able to provide for my family as well. So in a way, it gives me a lot of joy. So just being able to provide for them. So yeah.
I hear you. That's
Okay.
nice. And if you were able to change your job and do any job that might make you feel happier, daydream for a minute, what might you do?
Maybe writing.
Nice.
But the only problem with writing is that it doesn't really pay well.
Okay.
Yeah, so-
What style of writing?
It could be it's mainly creative.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'll do that on the side. But more importantly is to be able to provide for my family first. So more than, writing would give me a lot of joy if I didn't have anything else.
I see.
So,
If you were free to just be able to do whatever you wanted without having to pay the bills,
No.
etc.
no, not bringing in the food and all of that. Yeah,
Exactly.
so mainly it's a case of, I hope this never happens, but if I had no one, then writing would be my thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unless I get really good at it and I make a load of money, then
Well,
fine.
who's to say that you're not good at it now, or that it bringing you joy is the main focus?
Yeah.
But can I ask about how you feel about talking about your feelings, just before I let you go? Would you say that you're open and your family are open to talking about feelings?
Family, you won't be surprised, typical brown family, we don't really talk much about our feelings. But there's a lot of unsaid things though. Because it's just, a lot of the time, my mum and dad will do things for me that show that they love me. Like in a brown family, I can, just from the family I have, like cousins and stuff,
Yeah.
we don't say I love you, we just say, have you eaten? And that's-
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's, you staying alive is their kind of way of saying, I love you, keeping you alive, I should say.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So that it's acts of service, it's being there, it's helping you with staying nourished and
Yeah.
feeling safe.
Yeah.
But there are some things that go unsaid.
Some things go unsaid.
I think you said that a moment ago.
Yeah, that's what I meant by just going unsaid. Like, they won't out of their way go and say the words love or
Okay.
anything like that. They'll just say other things.
Would you open up to them if you were feeling down or sad?
Would I open up to them? I would. If I was feeling down, the immediate question would be from them would be like, what can I do?
Okay.
It wouldn't be listening to me. So that's how I was brought up. So I never go and just talk about my feelings. It's more of like, okay, how can we resolve a situation that's putting you there?
Absolutely.
So that's usually it. But then, just to answer your other question about feelings, I would probably never just talk about if I'm feeling sad or depressed. I would get analytical. That's probably the accountant side of me coming through. So I would just try and figure out what's actually keeping me down. That would be it, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. So it wouldn't stop you feeling it, obviously, but you wouldn't lead with those feelings.
No, I wouldn't lead with them, no. Oh.
Yeah. How's it been talking about your feelings now?
Really weird.
Yeah?
No,
Good, weird, bad, weird?
different weird.
Different
I can't say it's good or bad. It's just
Okay.
it's just different. Would I do it again?
Oh, thanks for doing this.
So, I seen the inspired people to talk, and I thought, well, I've got a big story to tell.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell us about your story? Sort of, and if you recognise it's good to talk, what do you want to share?
I'm a 30-year-old bloke. I've spent the majority of my life in and out of custody. I've been subject to sexual, physical and emotional abuse in my life. Ended up having a bit of a problem, became an addict. I used some hard drugs, crack cocaine, weed, did pretty much everything except for heroin. And it was during my last sentence that I realised if I don't turn things around, it's not me that's missing out, it's my kids. So I spent the last 5 years working hard on my mental health, started to build a structure for myself, started using music to turn myself around, and that's how I show my emotions now.
What's been the inspiration for you to change? You know, I heard you said about your kids.
Yeah,
So what kind of triggered the starting point of that?
I was in custody, I was in a bit of a bad place, committed some further crimes in custody, having a mental breakdown, and through the work, obviously, I ended up getting an extended sentence on top of my sentence. My son came to visit me and I only had 30 days left when I got it. And when I seen him, he was like, Daddy, you're coming home next week. And I had to knock his confidence and tell him I'm not coming back for another few years. And it made me realise, because he broke down, started crying, it made me realise it's not me it's affecting. I can do jail standing on my head, but it's what it does to them. It does to my children.
It sounds like that's the thing that hit you hard.
Yeah, I love my boys. I haven't been able to be there because I've been in custody their whole life, and it's now my turn to turn that around and be there for them.
So it sounds like you want to be an inspiration for them, show them the right path almost.
Well, yeah, I don't want my children to go down the same route as I did, and I think that's my biggest failure is my children ain't obviously with me; they're with their mother-in-law, and my biggest failure is that I didn't want that for my own children. I didn't want the same sort of style that happened with me growing up, and I've already knocked that back. But still, they're young, so I can always turn that around and show them that their daddy loves them, and that I can rebuild them relationships anyway. So I'm not going to give up.
So, what do you do for your mental health now? How do you look after you?
Music. I write music. I sing. I spit bars, and that's what I do. Like just tell my story that way.
What kind of music?
Rap. I've got a bit of a soulful voice, so a bit of soul. I love it.
We're going to see you on the TV then. Here on the radio.
Maybe one day. I'm on TikTok. I might get picked out one day.
Okay. Well, listen. We'll give you our details afterwards because I'd love to make sure that we're connected. But thanks so much for sharing your story. It's people like you that are brave enough to step forward, and you know it's not easy standing in the middle of a street and sort of giving a bit of your history and.
I'm quite a confident guy anyway, so I'm more than happy to talk. And if it helps somebody else who's got the same sort of story as me pull themselves out of it, then that's a bonus, isn't it?
If I give you this, okay, and if you take a moment or two to have a look and pick out one or several of the emotions that most describes how you're feeling today.
Today?
Yeah.
I'm feeling grateful today.
Okay, tell me more.
It's just been a good day today. I mean, it's been a good week. I mean, you know, weeks are on and off. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But for the last week, it's been.
What's made it a good week and a good day?
Well, I think there's so much to look forward to at the moment because I went to see a concert with my brother next week.
Oh.
We're going to see a band in London. They're like one of my favourite bands ever.
Who are they?
1975.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard of them or not.
But this is like my first like big gig. So like I'm really excited to see them live because I love music. I play the guitar.
Oh,
that's
amazing.
one of the things that helps me with my mental health as well. You know.
Can you say a bit more about your mental health, then? What your challenges are?
So I suffer from definitely overthinking. I'm a very anxious guy. I get paranoid easily.
Okay.
Which it doesn't really seem like it from like the outside because I'm quite confident. You know, I'm quite a confident person, but when it's mad looking around. You feel like everyone's watching.
It is weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling. But I'm very curious to know what it feels like on the inside, Finn. So, like you say, you come across very chatty, and you know, obviously, behind the scenes, that we might call that masking. You know, you might be keeping your feelings in.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it's getting better. Like a few years ago, I suffered from immense anxiety. I used to dissociate so much, and I'd feel so out of this world.
What's that like?
Terrifying. It's terrifying. It's traumatic, but you know, you learn to cope, and you learn to push through, and you feel like at some points like the world is tumbling down, like it's the end of the world, but it gets better over time because you start to learn to cope, and you start to recognise the good things in the world, you know, because when you're at such a low point, you want to pick yourself up. Well, I got to the point where I wanted to pick myself up. Not everyone feels like that, but I wanted to pick myself up, and I started just...
I'm curious about when you said you feel like you started to learn to cope. People would be very interested to know, for you, how do you start doing that when you've got really debilitating anxiety?
I started meditating.
Okay.
Meditation was a good tool for me. It wasn't something that I really considered before, but I was suffering from a lot of stress, and I started looking into meditation. And I started just doing like 10 minutes a day. Now it turns into like half an hour.
Wow.
Like every few days. I mean,
Yeah.
when I've got the patience and the time, but I come out of it feeling a real sense of like calm. You know what I mean? I feel really, it's like if I'm in an anxious mood, I meditate, I take in the moment, and I stop getting anxious about, you know, external things.
Yeah. I mean, meditation's powerful.
Yeah.
And I think, do you think it's like people might see it as a bit of a you know, a weird thing, or there might be a lot of stigma attached to meditation, like you haven't tried it before?
I don't know. I think a lot of people say that, you know, they don't have the patience for it, but it's something that comes with practice. And I think any you know, you're going to need any practice to, you know, battle mental health.
It's a very good point.
It's not easy picking yourself up and doing it, but do you know what? I think what people have got to know is that they're not alone. And I know that's a really cliche thing to say, but like,
But it's true.
When I tell people that I have anxiety, they don't believe it, because they think, how could someone like me have anxiety, someone who talks so much? But honestly, like, it is an internal battle, and I thought that it would never get better, because when you're young and, you know, at 16, I was quite, you know, vulnerable, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be like the rest of my life. Like, I'm going to feel like this forever. And I was depressed. I'd had horrible anxiety and feelings. You get to a point where you realise, shit, do you know what I mean? Like,
it's really powerful what you're saying, that it gets better is the message, and that people make assumptions about how you might be feeling.
The thing is, what I learned is that there are so many good people in the world. The world can be a beautiful place. Like, if you look around,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If you look around in the right places, you're going to find a lot of negativity, because that's the world we live in. There's so, you know, people are too attached to their phones. They're too attached to, you know, how one person made them feel, you know, or someone said something, or so-and-so said something. But
so less time attached to our devices and more time looking around, taking things in.
And actually recognising the good things in your day. If you have a bad day, you know.
But I think it's powerful what you're saying, and clearly you have really gone through quite a lot of struggles in your life. But it gets better.
And I'm telling it to a podcast. Yeah, just come out of work, you know. I thought, but I think it's important to talk about it, innit? Because, you know, you don't realise what people go through at home or at work or whatever, and people are so quick to judge. You know what I mean? And I think when I suffered from anxiety and depression, I don't even like to say suffered, but it was a hard time. But you realise that actually so many people go through it, and I realised not to judge myself or to judge others for if they're having problems. And like, I have no shame in my mental health.
That's good.
Nobody should have shame in their mental health. We're all human. We all feel emotions, you know.
Exactly.
I think there's a whole thing of having to be a certain person around strangers, or be different, or be something different, be something you're not. And I think that's one thing we've got to stop in society. We need to start embracing ourselves, loving everyone for who they are, being yourself. And do you know what I'm saying? Actually, anxiety's all right, depression's all right, and do you know what? With the right people in your life, you're going to be all right, you know. And I totally believe that. You're going to go through hard times, and it's going to be a battle, but life is a test.
It is.
You will get stronger. You'll get stronger the more you go through hard times, you know. It will build you up, and eventually you'll get to a point where you go, do you know what, life ain't too bad, because I've got good people in my life, I've got good things going on in my life, there are things to look forward to. Life can be beautiful. That's one thing that if you didn't to not edit out of me waffling.
I'm not editing that out. I'm not editing
Life-
any of that beautiful.
Life can be beautiful,
Speech there.
and spirituality really helped me, you know. And no, I'm not talking about religion.
No,
It's not about religion. It's about meditation. It's
philosophy
not
on life.
whatever religion you are. Meditation, whatever you do, is so important. You know, because we all have our struggles, and we should never judge. Never judge.
They're really
Nobody
beautiful
deserves. Nobody deserves a judgment.
Yeah.
You know, nobody deserves judgment.
That's going to help a lot of people.
You're going to go through so much in life. You know, even this. I'm finding this tough, but I think it's important to say.
You're doing an amazing job.
So a lot of people just walk past and won't say anything. Do you know what I mean? So
The reactions we get from people are very interesting. Some people are terrified. Some look
it's
terrified.
funny because I do acting and stuff, and that's the one thing that is, funnily enough, is something I don't get anxious about. It's like my mental health. You know, when I sing in front of people,
That's
I play
your
guitar,
safe
and I go on stage. Like to a lot of people that'd be nerve-wracking, but to me, that's like that's my safe place. Yeah, but that's the point. We're all different. Some people wouldn't want to do that. Some people have other ways of coping, and that's fine. But one message I want to put out, that definitely I want you to keep in, is to keep spreading love, keep being a good person.
I love that one.
Someone needs a hug, you know, someone needs a cuddle. Tell them you love them. Life's too short, you know, for all this negativity and all this stuff going on. You know, we got to be. And I know I'm in a position of privilege. Like I understand that, but I want to at least spread a good message to like the big platforms.
I love that. I really love that, Finn. Thank you very much.
I've got to go. I'm supposed
You've
to be
got to go. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much. Look after yourself.
Today is about mental health.
Okay.
We're looking at emotions. We're getting you to look at this and seeing how you feel today.
Okay. Okay, how do I feel today? It's really hard. I think it's really hard to sometimes, as I don't know, I struggle with mental health. So today I actually feel quite grateful because I've had a really nice day with my daughter.
Yeah.
But it's so interchangeable for me with my mental health, mainly driven by hormones as being a woman.
Yeah.
But also I just really struggle with it. I think ever since I'm quite open about how having a baby and having a child really impacted me.
Right. Okay.
And I definitely have only in the last sort of year been on a journey about experiencing like postnatal depression and actually realising that actually massively impacted me. I actually work for the NHS as well, so I think lots of stuff has triggered that on and actually made me realise that I actually did struggle myself.
Yeah.
When I had her, she's 4, so she was the 2 months before COVID baby.
Oh, right.
So I really struggled with my pregnancy, really struggled with my delivery, struggled with breastfeeding, struggled with everything.
Right.
And then had no one to do that journey with post COVID.
Yeah.
Because I was in a room with an 8-week-old baby and had no support groups, no antenatal groups, nothing.
No.
And I think it's really sad that there's this group of women out there that have probably experienced the same thing I've experienced now. I lost my job because of COVID. I used to work for Topshop, and then I had to change and I work for the NHS, and it's made me realise actually what I went through. And I've got a really amazing group of friends. Like my best friend is so supportive and she's pregnant now, so I'm really glad that I can do that journey with her and support her for what I missed out on, because I didn't even have the group of friends that could come and sit with me and let me wash my hair and had nothing. It was me and my husband and a baby. So I think like I'm really grateful, but like, there's some days I wake up obviously being hormonal anyway, and I still really struggle with that, and I still post like 4 years later really struggle with my weight, and so today is a good day.
And
And I love spending days with her. Like, we have the best relationship.
It's gorgeous.
But there is some days where it does feel really tough, and I don't think there's still enough done post-COVID for a lot of people. I know a lot of people experience that, but there is definitely this group of women and children out there who have had no support. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Thank you so
You're
much for sharing.
welcome.
Do you feel sometimes with the postnatal depression it's because yourself didn't realise what was going on at all, and then
I think because you really expect this whole like amazing pregnancy, and I had a really rough ride, and you're only ever told about how amazing pregnancy is going to be, and you're going to be able to breastfeed, it's natural. I couldn't breastfeed. She had a huge tongue tie that had to be cut.
Right.
I had an emergency C-section, and you're not given any support.
no.
I mean, I delivered at the Princess Anne, and they were amazing.
Yeah.
But it was very much like, here you need to breastfeed, and here's this. It was no like catch up. After day 5, I was on my own as a first-time parent.
Yeah. That's really scary.
And it's so scary, and it's so sad. And luckily I'm intelligent enough to look up on stuff online and do stuff. But then, you would then go to these support groups and have that support with those women, and I had nothing.
Nothing at all.
And I was doing stuff over Zoom, and it was so not interpersonal but building those relationships. So I'm really grateful, and I think that's why she is so good, because she has only ever known adults around her. Because I then had to take her to, when I've seen my friends, and I'm allowed to see my friends, I take her with me, I take her everywhere. We do baby groups now, and she's gone to nursery, and I've really encouraged her education from that perspective. She goes to school this year, and it'll be interesting to see what the school this year, this cohort, will be for the children, because they are the COVID years.
Yes, of course.
And I still don't think we're talking about it enough, about how these children are impacted. Especially those children, because the mums haven't afforded to go to nursery. I'm very lucky in my situation where I work full time. I've got my mum has on a Tuesday. I then go to work 4 days a week now, long days, and she goes to nursery 3 days. It's extortionate. But I did it because I wanted her to get that relationship before she goes to school. So yeah, it's really difficult.
And do you feel you're taking one day at a time?
I do take 1 day at a time. I really try to support my own mental health. I work out. I found this amazing workout group. I live in Southsea. I used to live in Southampton.
Right.
And it's an amazing group of women, and so I work out and I go to yoga. I do a lot for my own mental health. My friends really support me. And have open discussions that they know what I've now gone through, because I've really shared that. But it's our own story, isn't it? Like, I really say to my friends, whatever I went through is not what you're going to experience, hopefully ever again.
If the people that are going to listen to the podcast, if there's something you could say to somebody that's out there now who feels or knows they're suffering with postnatal depression, what would you say?
Personally, I would encourage to go and chat to people. I probably didn't do that enough, and actually just be really honest and open and talk to your friends, because actually they've probably experienced it yourself. And I think as a group of individuals and women, that's what we forget. We forget the sleepless nights. We have the most beautiful baby, but then we don't have real conversations about what actually happens to your bodies and how your bodies react.
Absolutely.
2 weeks post labour, we don't talk about that enough.
No.
And that's what I really struggled with, and that's what I'm really open and honest with my friends now, is you're going to have some dark days. The milk's going to come in and the hormones are going to flood. You're going to be okay. And I think it's a shame we don't talk about it enough. But there's so many amazing charities and apps and stuff that you can utilise, and also just making sure you get time for yourself if you're in that position, and you can make sure your partner's supporting you or your mum. Just even when your friends come round, just ask to go to sleep for an hour, because that's what you need. And that's what I have encouraged all my friends now. When I go round, I do the washing up for them, take food, because that's what you want.
That's lovely. I like that. Thank you so much for
welcome.
telling your story.
No, thank you.
Look at the feelings. What you're feeling today? There we go. Okay, so tell me how you're feeling today.
I'm feeling joyful.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I don't know what else.
Okay, and a bit excited by the
Yeah.
sound of it because you're doing a party later on.
Yeah, it's her birthday.
Yeah. Okay, how old will you be?
14.
14, right. Okay, and how are you feeling about that?
Optimistic.
Optimistic? Yeah. Okay. And you said just a minute ago you didn't know what mental health was or mental illness?
No.
Right, okay.
Is that where, like, depressed at that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I know what that is, yeah.
Yeah, so when we're not feeling great, so we have sort of these up and down processes, don't we?
Like
Like low.
grief.
Yeah. Anything to do with grief or loneliness
Yeah.
or anxiety?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your name at the end there?
Jess.
Jess, hi Jess. How are you feeling today?
Happy.
Happy, right? Okay. It sounds like it's a party day, don't really? That you're really happy about. And when you are low, what do you do to make yourself feel better?
Talk to my friends.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I talk to my friends.
Yeah. Okay.
Same.
Yeah. Okay. And friendship is really important to you, by the sounds of it. Yeah. Is it like an extended family?
Yeah.
Is that what it feels like? You look like a little gang
Yeah,
going around
family.
together. Yeah. Okay. Well, have a wonderful party. Thank you for doing this.
too.
Are you
Bye.
okay for me to put this on our podcast?
Yeah.
We're really interested in young people and how they feel. Paradox of change.
Blimey.
Hello.
God. Hello, James. So the reason why I thought I'd press record, because I was thinking to myself that we've already noticed a theme, haven't we, already? Theme being, when we're asking people how they are, there's an extreme nature to it. Would you agree? Or is it just what? Or are we just blind to it? Am I ignorant to?
No, I think when we're starting to say to them, how are you? They're suddenly realising, oh, actually, how am I? There's been hesitations, and then there's people that just jumped in straight away. So it's really interesting. As soon as we spark that imagination of actually how I am, they start to think about, actually, how am I?
But what struck me is also that vulnerability. People are just talking.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
go into quite depth. You know, this is not the sanctity of a therapy room. This is out in the street.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they are actually telling their story, which is the whole point of us coming here.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. We're inspiring people to talk, and we're giving them a platform to do it. And if they could, they'd hold the mic themselves.
Well, there's a lot of them going, it's mine. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I love that.
This one's mine. This one's yours. For me, a little bit of growth in what we're doing is the best conversations I've had. Is not being in front of the microphone. It's trying to get them in front of the microphone.
Yeah.
Talking about, you know, why we're doing it, where we're coming from, and then all of a sudden there's that spark of inspiration or a recognition. They go, yeah, well, my uncle is not well, and you know, and they get it, don't they?
Yeah, and I think our story is really important, why we started it, and actually being able to explain the story to them or what POC means. For me, they start listening, they get interactive, and then you say, do you actually want to do the podcast? Do you want to go on the podcast? And they're like, oh, yeah.
I think I've had about 50% of the people that I've spoken today have all said they're either seeing the therapist or had experience of therapy.
Yeah.
There's one young lady, and I'm waiting for her to come back. She said she was going for a drink with her mum, but she said that her story wasn't worth sharing, and I said, oh well, that's, you know, any story's worth sharing.
Yeah.
She had a brain tumour.
Oh, wow.
She got a brain tumour.
Yeah.
She's recovered.
Yeah.
She's got a second chance at life, and she doesn't feel that her story's worth talking about. So please come back.
Absolutely. The thing is, everyone always says, don't they, there's worse people off. People off. So to me, I think to myself, this is your story.
Yeah.
Come and tell us.
And what a platform to be vulnerable for a second and be an inspiration.
Yeah.
And you could see the look on her face. Why would I be an inspiration? Because you've had a brain tumour and you're a survivor.
Yeah. Oh, that's so. I hope she comes back.
She went that way. I'll send James over.
Okay, cool. John,
Yes.
how you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, I'm very well, thank you for asking. Can I give you that?
Yeah.
Okay, just take a moment to have a look at it.
Yeah.
And pick out the main feeling or emotion that you feel best describes how you are today.
Probably anticipation.
Okay.
Exciting.
Okay.
Excited, sorry.
Can you tell me a bit more? What are you
Um,
anticipating or excited about?
Going to the Southampton game, so
Okay.
I'm quite excited about the result. Excited
Yeah.
about what can happen.
You're a Saints fan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited, so yeah.
So, would you say that today is pretty much a really good day then because of that?
Today's a very good day.
Yeah?
But I had a bit of a dodgy football game, but hopefully it'll brighten up my
It might
attitude.
brighten up. And
Yeah.
so, just thinking about your feelings for a minute, I don't know how you feel amongst
Yeah.
your group of friends. How do you feel about talking about your emotions with other people?
Quite comfortable, I'd say.
Quite comfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you think you were brought up to be okay with talking about how you feel?
Yeah, probably. I think
Yeah?
just, the way I got brought up probably helps.
Would you share if you felt any of these more negative emotions with other people, if you felt sad, for example?
Yeah, probably like sad and anger. I probably wouldn't share disgust,
Okay,
but probably sad and anger, yeah.
okay. And do you think amongst your age group, everyone feels comfortable about talking about their feelings?
I think there's a definite divide.
Do you reckon?
But I think if you're close to someone, most people will open up and they'd be happy.
What do you think the divide might be about?
I think it's just how comfortable people feel around friends, whether they're actually their friends, whether they're not, and stuff like that.
Because how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
16.
16. So do you think most 16-year-olds are like you would be comfortable talking about their feelings, or it's a bit of a mixed bag?
I'd say so, but only certain people. I don't think they'd go up to anyone and tell them how they're feeling, but it has to
Okay.
be something they feel comfortable with talking to.
Do you think your age, your sort of people your age feel like it's a safe place to talk about how they feel in this world, or do you think it's? Do you think they find it difficult and
I
challenging?
think they probably find it difficult because of how people may view them, because of what they say. But I think probably feel there's always a time and place for it, where
Yeah.
they can feel like they can do it. So yeah,
You seem quite comfortable talking about how you feel, though.
yeah.
That's good. That's nice to hear. Well, look, thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you for having
and I
me.
hope that Saints win, obviously.
Thank you, obviously.
Who are they playing?
Huddersfield.
Huddersfield. Okay. So do we reckon we're in with a chance, or?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Okay. So what
Hopefully.
time do you have to get there for?
3 o'clock kickoff.
Oh, what time's it now?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
You best get going.
What we're essentially doing, and we thought would be a great opportunity, is just giving people an opportunity to have a chat, talking about how they feel. And we thought we'd do this in an interesting way. And we've just been asking people, how do you feel? How do you feel out of those emotions? How do you feel today?
There's quite a few on there,
Is there?
but I'm going to say happy today. I'm out here with my family,
Yeah.
having a nice day out, come from Arundel, and making the most of it.
So we've spoken to a lot of people today, and we've had a myriad of different kinds of emotions. Are you happy all the time?
Not all the time. I wasn't happy before I got here. Obviously, with the cost of living crisis and everything that's going on, a lot of us are in debt at the moment, like
Yeah.
myself. And times are hard for everyone, not
How-
just me.
How does that affect you, do you think?
Every
From-
day when I wake up, bit of anxiety,
Yeah.
but getting there
Yeah.
and should be debt free by the end of the year.
So you've got some pressures in the background that
Got a
are
little
sort
bit of pressure, yeah.
yeah, contributing to the anxiety.
Yeah.
And what do you do for your mental health? Do you think what's the thing that helps you the most?
Where I work. So I work at Butlins in Bognor Regis.
Oh, you don't?
I do.
I've been there.
Have you? And they're great, especially for mental health. They've
So-
got their own team to help team that struggle with mental health. They've got counsellors and everything.
Oh, it's
which is
amazing.
good for a company.
Well, it's essential in this
Yeah.
day and age. And you just talked about sort of the crisis and how the living prices and everything else. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much going on. We're all buried in our phones. It's
Of course.
not easy, is it?
But Butlins is like my second family.
Oh, how long
Yeah.
have you worked there for?
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, best place I've ever worked.
What's the best bit about it?
The team, the guests, the whole experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a performer or
I'm
do you-
not, no, I work in housekeeping. I used to work on the fun fair.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
But-
amazing.
Yeah.
And so what would be your takeaway? What would be your give back to, if someone said to you that they were struggling with their mental health or they're really sad or anxious or depressed,
Ask for help
Okay.
and be there with your friends and get a bit of support from your friends as well that help you along the way.
That's a good bit of advice.
Yeah.
Thank you for chatting with us. I
No,
really
that's
do
fine.
appreciate it.
All right?
What's your name again?
Miles.
Miles, I'm Elliot. Nice to meet you,
Nice to meet
fella.
you. Have a good one.
Thank you, fella. Cheers.
Thank you.
So, nice to meet you both.
Hi.
If I can hand you this, you can look at it together if you like.
Yep.
Take a moment just to take all of the emotions in and pick one that best describes how you're feeling today.
Maybe here and here.
Okay. Claire, do you want to start then? If you have a think page, well, Claire,
Yeah.
tell me a bit more about how you're feeling then.
So I feel quite happy. I'm planning my wedding, and that's
Oh.
what I'm in here doing, is buying bits for
I
that.
see.
And yeah, definitely feel accepted in life with the people around me.
Joyful and accepted. So tell me a bit more about those two emotions and sort of where they're coming from, do you think? What's contributing to you feeling that way?
I think when you feel content within yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Contentment. And how do you feel in terms of contentment? How does that play out in your day-to-day life? How do you contribute to that feeling?
Maybe more confident.
Okay.
A bit more assertive when you
Okay.
need to be. Those
Yeah.
sorts of feelings.
Okay. That's nice. Paige, have you had a think?
Yeah, I think so.
Where would you place yourself and how you're feeling?
Kind of optimistic, I think.
Okay.
Maybe hopeful. I just-
Okay. Tell me a bit more about either one of those. What's contributing to you feeling like that? No right or wrong answer.
No, I'm trying to start a few new things in my life, aren't I? I'm trying to do like an accounting course and things like
Oh,
that. So
brilliant.
just trying to find things to look forward to, make
That's
it
nice.
a bit nicer to go forward, I think.
That's
Have
lovely.
things to be doing and keep yourself busy and milestones, I think.
Yeah.
Like doing the first year, doing the first exams, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And do you think that's important for you and for others, do you think, to sort of have something to aim for?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps, especially if you're having like a down day. It gives you something to redirect anything to.
Yeah.
We were talking about it earlier, weren't we? Yeah, channel it to something positive
Mm-hmm.
instead of negative. It'd be nice to redirect it and get something out of it.
So you think that it's possible to redirect? If you're feeling sad, perhaps you might change your focus onto something else and then maybe could feel less sad, a little bit happier.
Yeah, of course. I think it's quite an important thing to recognise in yourself when you're having like a day with negative emotions. It's important to take a step back and recognise you're feeling that and see maybe what do I need to do to feel a bit better? Do I need to take myself away and think? Do I need to go out and do something? That sort of thing.
Yeah, I hear that.
I think it's a hard thing to get into the habit of doing, but then when you're in the habit of doing it, it's quite an easy thing to do.
I think that's an interesting point, that maybe to begin with, if you're feeling sad, for example, you might not feel confident in changing that or focusing your feelings in somewhere else.
Yeah.
But if you start practicing, I think is what you're saying,
Yeah.
it starts to become more familiar.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's certain things that are harder to redirect emotions with, but if you start doing it with small days where you just wake up feeling a bit naff, it's a bit easier to then, when you do have bigger challenges, to find a way to make them positive.
Claire, what do you think? Have you anything Paige has said that you agree with?
Yeah, definitely. So I used to foster many years ago, and I had a placement that was coming to an end after like 2.5 years. It was a positive ending for the child,
Yeah.
but sad for me when the child was moving on.
Yeah.
And I signed myself up for a psychology course that I had 2 years to do it in, and did it in 6 weeks because I just channeled all of my
Wow.
grief
Yeah.
for the loss of it is still a loss.
Yeah.
So yeah, I channeled it all that way, so that I gained something from all of those emotions rather than sitting there dwelling in them. And
So you use them as like fuel
yeah,
to
something good out of
channel them into something positive.
yeah.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Definitely
And do you think, to both of you, do you think that we're getting better as a country, as people talking about how we feel?
I think as a country as a whole, we're much better. I think there's a massive aftermath of COVID that still needs to be addressed. So Paige's year was the year that found out on the news at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, you don't go back to school tomorrow. Bye-bye.
exams, yeah.
No exams. So everything that she just spent 5 years working towards just got taken away in
Wow.
a 30-second news update. And the impact on that for that year and the 3 years that followed, I don't think it's measurable yet. But as a parent, you can see it. So yeah, I think it's much more talked about, and probably from COVID onwards, it's more talked about.
So maybe because of how impactful COVID was, people feel more, well, they feel like maybe they had to start talking about how they feel
Yeah.
more, potentially, but there's still a way to go.
Yeah, and I think you kind of appreciated what you get out of social interaction and just being like the little social butterfly every now and again, and just being able to go out and have a meal or go to the pub with your friends and stuff.
Yeah.
That so much is got out of that, and I think everyone forgot, and it was all taken for granted. So yeah.
Yeah, that's powerful. Do you agree, Paige? Do you think it's,
Yeah, I do. I think it's, and there's a lot of, I think especially with young kids, I think it's going to be a thing where you can kind of see now a lot of teachers say about behaviours, I think it's because they missed out on like a year and a half of an important time to socialise. So when they got thrown back into it, they're not used to being around many people. And I think, especially with the older generation as well, it made them realise they do need to talk about things with people. They're stuck at home, they didn't have anyone. The only thing you can do is you're forced to reach out in a way.
Yeah.
You don't have the option to just go out and pretend. You were sat at home, you had to recognise how you're feeling.
Absolutely. And I think, I don't know if you agree, but it feels like COVID obviously was hugely impactful and we were all forced to stay in, and then we had to find different ways to connect. But when that started to change, it's almost like, I don't know if you agree, but people returned to that insular type feeling. It's like, oh, well, now COVID's gone, we'll go back to just not talking.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, let's keep what we fostered during COVID
100%.
and carry that on. But people seem to have maybe reverted back to a way of they used to be before.
Yeah, it's easy to fall back into old habits, isn't
Exactly
it?
that. Exactly that. Well, look, thank you very much, both of you. It's been really nice chatting to you. I'll take that off you. Thank you. And
We finished up for the day. I'm busting for the loo. Didn't need to add that bit, but anyway.
You've been holding it all day. That's like no mean feat, Elliot.
I know.
That's like hours of holding in your
Honestly,
wheat.
these pads are brilliant.
Didn't tell me right. Pampers.
Grown-up ones.
Grown-up ones.
What do you think of today?
I love today. It's been amazing that people have shared their stories.
Just get on with it.
We can't expect people to know, can we?
Share their stories. They've been just emotional and heartwarming, and yeah, I wouldn't have missed this for the world. I love it here.
It was a good practice run, I think, more than anything else. For me, I was quite surprised of the vulnerability of some of these individuals. I thought it was amazing that there's also some brave people that just come out with really deep personal stuff, and it's in the public eye as well.
Yeah.
It's not in the sanctity of a therapy room. What about you? What was your takeaway?
My takeaway was how, actually, given just a few minutes for somebody to settle in, they want to open up.
Yeah.
And the bravery, the courage to come and talk to somebody like us who they don't know and share really personal things. I've had some really personal conversations with people today, and it's been beautiful.
Yeah.
That I connected just by listening. They get to share. We've had a bit of a laugh. It's all been perfect for me. I've loved it.
And a bit of a learning experience. I can certainly see us doing it again and with some refinement, but
we're not going to sort of scare people next time.
So the rugby tackling has to stop.
The herding.
Lottie's got to wear a different coat. She's swooshing it around.
So we nearly got arrested when we got here.
We did. We had a really shaky start when we got here. You've got to be the other side of the pillars.
We had to find the email really quickly.
Yeah.
There literally was a fine line, wasn't there?
Yeah.
A really fine line.
Oh, it's been wonderful. Yeah.
It's been great.
I'm looking forward to next time.
Me too.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Fantastic. So thank you for following us on the Paradox of Change today on the streets of Southampton, just outside West Quay. We appreciate as well the fact that everyone was so vulnerable and brave and talking about their feelings and emotions. We look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.